Hello lovelies and welcome back. We are in lockdown to Corona Avenue. Infection rates are higher. And as promised, I am going to finish this story eventually. So sit back, relax, and pretend the rest of the world doesn't exist for a few minutes. I'm sure we could all do with some emotional respite. So where were we? Last time on Slayers the Ruby Eye.
If you wish to defeat my sword, it would have to be the Sword of Light. It looks like we're in a stalemate. Now we can keep fighting until our arms are too tired to lift our swords, or you could run home to your owner, Rezo. The choice is yours.
I won't forget this.
Okay, so what's our plan for getting away from Rezo?
There is no plan.
Why am I not surprised? Okay, I'll continue with my plans and you can come with me to Atlas City then. You are now listening to Slayers the Ruby Eye, Chapter 3, Part 7.
That's the last of them. For now, at least.
Oh, come on, give me a break. It's always funny. And they've shown up twice this morning, and again during lunch. They showed up twice this afternoon, interrupting our dinner. And of course, they showed up while I was trying to, at long last, get some sleep. It's like personalised, targeted harassment to this point.
And that's funny to you.
No. What's funny to me is what I'm going to do to them in return.
Is that so?
I mean, it's like fighting a bloody Hydra. You cut off one head and whoops, there's two more in its place. Also, just the variety of creatures sent after us. Is Rezo a bloody Disney princess or something?
No, he's not a princess, and I've never heard of a place called Disney. He's one of the great sages who...
Yeah, I know all that. I was just trying to make conversation. Jeez.
You do talk a lot. It seems a rather one-sided conversation.
You don't say.
Oh, for heaven's sake!
Ah! Why him?
I'll put out the fire.
Why bother? There's about to be more anyway. It was our old friend Dilgear back at the helm again, and he'd brought some new guys with him. A monster of some sort, a few war mantises, and a Druhan Death Knight. Kaloo. I'd rather you just go away. And about 50 ogre berserkers, just, you know, for padding.
Quite the army you've got yourself there.
Zergoddess said, his voice not quite as confident as usual.
Congratulations, Dilgear. Your bitch of a mother must be proud.
I hate to admit it, but it was kind of impressive.
You can't sweet talk your way out of this one, boss. I still owe you from last time.
I was gonna say the insult went right over his head, but is it an insult if she's actually a bitch? Dilgear grinned and stepped forward. His confidence seemed to be earned. It looked like we have some pretty tough customers on the other side. However, pretty tough customers are still flammable. Cracked my knuckles with anticipation. Tension hung in the air.
Now you're good, boss. But you're not good enough to beat everyone single-handedly, are you?
What?
Nobody is that good.
I took a step forward. Excuse me, don't you think you're forgetting someone? Dilgear scratched his face and looked hard in thought.
No, I don't think I am.
Enough of that fucking... Yes, you are, Dodo. You're forgetting about me.
You're no for it.
The disrespect he had shown was staggering. I considered displaying the extent of my power, such they were, in one spectacular shot. Now, I don't know if I was giving out some weird aura or he read my mind or what.
No, don't!
Why not? He said through gritted teeth, holding back the floodgates.
The whole point of them sending one unit after another is to get us exhausted of power. And if you spend it all in one shot, then we're sitting ducks.
I take your point on board, and it makes sense. And it's a little disappointing, but okay. Just gonna have to get a grip and tone it down a little. I drew my sword from my hip. So, Mr. Big Brain Tactical Boy, how do you think they always know where we are? I asked casually. But the question had been bothering me for a while. After all, even if they had guessed we were heading for Atlas City, there were a dozen different roads to there. How did they always know exactly which road we would take?
Well, it's because you're with me, obviously.
Zelgoddess chided. And why is it so obvious? I glanced over my shoulder for clarification.
As I told you before, my body is created from Rezo's magic.
I get it, of course. I feel like an idiot. You never get a break, do you? Okay, I see a hand up at the back. I'll explain. Because Zelgoddess's body has been artificially created by magic, it's similar to a Hellmaster's jar, or a golem. It's been artificially created with a magical signature which is directly connected to the person who has created it. So by following the Shabanigdo pattern and inverting the Ruby Eyes, subtract H, which in this case is the Hellmaster's formula, because we're bonding a soul. And that should take you to your answer. The only way I could think of to hide Zelgoddess from Rezo was to reverse the fusion process. However, there was no doubt in my mind that this process was probably a Rezo original. And even if I was as good as I am, me, Supreme Genius, Lena Inverse, there wasn't really a chance I could reverse it without knowing it. So you're basically fucked. No matter what you do, you're gonna have to face the Red Priest sooner or later.
Yes, that would seem to be the case.
Well, that's just great. Zelgoddess and I are both pretty powerful, but against someone like Rezo, even the two of us didn't stand much of a chance. And from the way things were going, I figured it really wouldn't be much time before I was hanging from the church ceiling again. Oh, that was a depressing thought. Well, if the stakes are already high, I have no choice but to make them higher. Let's go! I begin from the back of my throat, quietly reciting an incantation. Fireball! My first attack took them by surprise. I think at the start of the battle, they all charged towards us. At least things were starting on my terms. Dig Vault! Though I was aiming at the demon in the vanguard, he dodged and I managed to hit a berserker instead. I did unfortunately draw the demon's attention though. Oops. Sure enough, he turned straight in my direction. Fine then, try some of this! Aaron Phantom Vinton Alan Ludcus Edwards. Flare arrow! As I called for them, a dozen blazing arrows appeared before my eyes, string bolt after bolt, attacking the monster from all sides. That fucker dodged every last one! Luckily for me, everyone else seemed to be concentrated on Zelgoddess.
Lena! Why would you start without warning?
To gain the upper hand, if you think about it logistically, we have a 99.99% of hitting them, and they only have like a 0.03.
You're not taking into account that there are multiple combatants, so they can do 30 attacks, whilst we can only do one at a time.
I am taking that into account. Only about 5 of them get near us at once. They're all close combat fighters. Meaning that if they want to do any big attacks, they have to hurt their friends on the way over here. Have you tried using area effect spells? They're really useful right now. Anyway, stop trying to fight me and fight them instead. I'm busy. I was. As low ranking as he was, a monster's still a monster. And they're a handful. If you weren't careful, you might mistake this demon for an old man. He wore a green cloak. A long white beard extended from a green hood. But his face revealed him. He had no eyes or nose or features. Definitely not human. Okay guys, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I am going to link the Amazon links for the first book, the second book, and the third book, as those are the ones out in English on Amazon down in the thing below me, so we can actually support the original authors. And hopefully we'll give them something back, because this is quite a fun little thing we've got going.